Alrighty then, this is going to be the next operation on the 65 Dream. This is going to be an alternator upgrade from the current 10 SI model, which is rated to about 63 amps, to a 12 SI, which is rated at 94 amps. This is pretty much a direct fit. The case size on this is what is referred to with the 10 SI, 12 SI. So this is a little bit larger case. You see it's got a little bit bigger fan up front, and the rest of it is pretty much straightforward. The voltage regulator that is in place right now on the existing setup is going to be eliminated, bypassed. It's got an internal voltage regulator on this, and the cross reference for this is a 1985 Buick Riviera with a 307 and a V8 with air conditioning. So that should get you the 94 amp model. We got this from a local parts store called O'Reilly's, and it was $129. Actually, the one we're putting in is like an AC Delco, and we're gonna go ahead and have a replacement one purchased since this one was on the shelf. Anyway, we're gonna need a pigtail for that connector right there. That was about 12 bucks. So by the time we're done with it, it's gonna be 150 something odd dollars with the tax and the rest of that stuff. So let's see how easy this direct swap goes. Off to time lapse, and let's see if we can get a good angle on this. We got the other alternator out. It wasn't too big of a deal. It did have a pack of washers taped together to take up some of the slack. It's kind of common, I guess. But one thing you notice on this is that they have a different type of fan that's characteristic of the 12 SI versus the 10 SI. And other than that, they're pretty much the same. The case size is a little bit different, and that allows it to have a little higher amps. It doesn't look like it, but it is a little bit bigger. The other thing that you want to double check is to make sure that they are clocked correctly. In other words, when these things are sitting side by side and these mount points are in the same position, that the alternator back part is positioned in the same direction. So sometimes these are clocked differently, and you'll have to take these bolts out and then turn it to line it up so that the connectors are in the right spot as the old one. Makes things a lot easier. If you're going to do that, just make sure that you don't pull the case out. Just keep the halves together. Keep those bolts real handy. Take them out and then just turn the unit and then align it up the way it's set up on the old one, and then that should be good to go. And then put the nuts back in there, or the long bolts back in there. So the other thing I wanted to check, I found this this tag on it, Pro Built. Looks like it's been on there a long time, but definitely was replaced once. Definitely not the original one. And then I saw on here where it had the specs. They're stamped in here. You can just see that 63 amps. So we're going to add another 31 amps to that by going to this 12 SI. So this should be pretty straightforward. All the connectors are the same. A lot of times you'll have to change the pigtail out so that it fits, but somebody has obviously been in here before, since this alternator is alternators have been rebuilt. So looks pretty good. The other thing that's not readily known is that these fans, they do not draw air into the alternator. They actually pull the air out, because the hottest part of the alternator is going to be these diodes back here, this rectifier bridge, and that's what gets a lot of heat. So it's drawn in here and expelled out the front. So other than that, that's pretty much it. We're going to go ahead and put this back in there, and should not be too big of a deal.